Hi everyone, Joy Divergence here. Have you ever had a moment where you're apologizing and you can't do anything but apologize? And yet it's usually because you feel like you're bad and wrong. You're not bad and wrong, but you may need to redirect yourself. Stop apologizing, first of all. If you're over apologizing and saying it like more than even 3 to 5 times within a minute or a day, stop apologizing. And remember, you are doing the best you can with what you've got. It is hard to remind ourselves that we are doing the best we can with what we've got, especially when others have intentionally put us down. And we end up putting up with it. We end up putting up with a lot, actually, those of us that do this. So if you're one of these individuals, stop apologizing and allow yourself to actually learn from the lesson, even though it might be hard. It might be hard to be able to say, you know what? There's something I need to look at personally for me. I need to learn a lesson here personally, and I'm going to allow myself to learn it. And it doesn't have to be in the space where somebody's yelling at you or putting you down. You can walk away, go outside for a walk, and allow yourself to just let everything melt off of you. Like as if the lava that was about ready to rage within you, to be able to yell it back at them. Instead, allow it to melt off of you. We all know you have a powerful dragon within you. But show them the true power then. Don't let them take your personal power away by doing that. Don't let them take your personal power away by giving them what they really want, which is to get you angry. If they're bullying you, then you need to allow yourself to step away from the bullying and go, you know what? It doesn't serve me to be here right now. I think I'm going to go somewhere else. And even if it's just for 5 minutes or a day, a week, a month, or a year, whatever you personally need to allow yourself the time and space to heal. Have you ever been one of those individuals that just feel like you can't take it anymore? You can't take being treated like this? Then get out. Get out of those circumstances and find a better set of cards, a better set of life. Start looking for those that are actually going to show you a path that leads to your highest and best good. That being said, for some people who have been stuck for so long, you usually see them wearing black. And their light isn't going to shine through very easily. Because it's all they know. Until they allow themselves to be brought into awareness too, they're going to continue dragging you down. And then your dragon will come out. And it will come out like a big ball of fire. If you really love and care about others and yourself, you'll find another place to let out the anger and frustration. Even if you need to go out for a walk and do some singing and dancing, or go and reach out to a friend, or go and find a friend. Someone who's actually going to help you walk through this mess. Someone who's going to say, you know what? I hear where your frustration is. Let me help you. Let me actually guide you into a better tomorrow. There are life mentors that are all around the world. And yet, for some reason, they have been given a bad name. Some of you may know this, and some of you may not. But life mentors are who they decide that they are, not necessarily that every single one of them are the same. There's going to be the one that you're looking for that will either be giving you negative feedback because you've been looking for it because you're expecting it. And you've been looking for it for so long that that's all you can do is expect it. But let's say for a moment that they make a mistake while they're learning to be a life coach or a life mentor. Everybody's human. We all make mistakes. But if it's happening repeatedly, maybe you need to find one that serves you better. And if you're one of those individuals who are the one who is lashing out, reach out for additional support, please, and allow somebody else to take over while you're still learning. It doesn't mean that you're bad and wrong. It just simply means you're still learning, and that's okay. Part of the reason I'm talking about this to begin with is because the dragon within us wants control. The dragon within us wants to be able to run everybody and control everybody and allow ourselves to be mean to one another, to tear each other down, to control each other. And sometimes a bigger dragon shows up and wants to gobble you up. When I was running from one situation and hadn't allowed myself the time to heal over 10 years ago, I ended up in a situation with another person. I found a bigger dragon. Yes, I was running and I was looking for help, but I hadn't allowed myself time to heal. I hadn't sought out those individuals that would have helped me to heal. So my dragon repeatedly came out. However, the person that I ended up being with, his dragon came out too. His dragon came out so big that he was even stalking me and then laughing about it in front of our very own child. But he didn't see anything wrong with that. But he was coping. He was coping to the best of his ability and laughing about stalking somebody else, making a joke about it. Well, for some part of him, he found his crowd. He found people that allowed him to stay stuck in that mindset, allowed him to not step into awareness, not allow him to find new information really every time that they would tear him down. So guess what? Even though I got out and I allowed myself time to heal, he did not. He made the same mistake that I made once before I met him. And this time, a bigger dragon showed up for him. As I watched what this person was doing, that was the dragon, I watched how she was tearing him down. Now, some of these ways that I saw that I did the same thing before. And for once in my life, I was like, oh my gosh, I can't believe that I did those things once. And I was brought into awareness. But I was willing to acknowledge that I did that, and I was that mess once. I was a mess-making machine. But then I realized something. I realized that history was going to repeat itself for him. It was going to keep on showing up bigger and bigger for him until he allowed himself the time and space that he needed to heal himself. I found myself one day out on a walk, singing and saying a prayer at the same time, it felt like that day. Praying that my own child would be able to bless him and that she'd be able to hear me even though she wasn't even around me. It sounds crazy, doesn't it? But it gave me the courage to finally have a conversation with her one day. A conversation where I was able to say to her, bless him, because he does not know what he is doing. He is stuck in being the victim. And it is the hardest thing to watch, especially when you have been the person to get out. And you realize that he's going to be stuck there for a while, possibly. But that is entirely up to him. And that I do not need to take that on. But if you were dealing with something like this in your own life, I would invite you to not take it on either. I'd invite you to just allow yourself to release and let the dragon melt away. And then meditate on what you need to release. Meditate on the beliefs that are stopping you from allowing you to be able to hold space for that individual. Because right now, that may be what they need most in order to shift. Some people want to rescue him and be the hero. He may need to be rescued. But hopefully, they don't continue the cycle for him. Hopefully, they don't feed the addiction. Hopefully, they take the time to go, you know what? I did get you out, and I will help you temporarily, but you need to be able to find a way to move forward. You need to find a way to stop being the victim. It is so hard to stop being the victim, especially when you don't know anything else out there that might just be better. Because you've been torn down. You've been sucked into a void, a black hole, so to speak. It seems endless until you decide that you've had enough of the black hole, until you decide that I want to know what is causing me to remain in this black hole. I want to know what it is that I need in order to get out. Because otherwise, it ultimately will lead to your doom, your total destruction. You must acknowledge that you have a dragon within, but then acknowledge that you need to find a way to be a better conduit for that dragon. The conduit is a point of origin that allows you to redirect what was once a fear to a personal power and faith. But faith is not always enough. You must sometimes go into an extreme gratitude. You must allow yourself to be able to go, you know what, I am grateful this mess showed up for me because it showed me what I didn't want. It showed me that I have a lot to learn, and that's okay. Sometimes that is the hardest thing to do, and sometimes it gets easier. As time goes on, if you allow yourself to be a better conduit of the dragon within you, you will actually not only heal yourself, but you will be able to provide answers for a mass healing for others, because they will be able to finally see maybe there's something more to life than just being the victim and just being the hero and just being the villain. One day this will not be so hard. But for those of you that are just starting out, I applaud you for at least watching this video. I applaud you for at least willing to listen and acknowledge your own insecurities and your own frustrations. But do it in a way that serves you and others. If you need to write it down, then you write it down. If you need to write it down and then tear it up, then you do that. If you need to write it down and then put it into a metal bin and burn it, then you do that. If you need to take the time to be able to sit out in a car and let out your angers and frustrations in your vehicle before you re-enter a home, then do that. But if you are wanting a far more better support, you must allow yourself to be with that thought. Be with the thought of what it would be like to be with somebody who knows better. Allow yourself to feel it, to feel the goodness. Of that person. And know that they are right there in front of you. Sometimes they are the man in the mirror. And sometimes it is extra support outside. But do not allow yourself to become trapped in a repeated process of self-growth. At some point, you can start allowing yourself just to sit and be with that feeling of goodness, that light, that infinite worth. And you may not believe that you are worthy of such a thing at first. But the thing is that you've been lied to. You've been worthy of a good life all along. And if you allow yourself to acknowledge that, and you allow yourself to know that you can move forward, no matter how hard it might look, know that appearances can be deceiving. And what I mean by that is fear. And some people look at it as going, fear is what? False evidence appearing real? Some people will also look at it and say, you can either face everything and run, or you can face everything and rise. But if you're going to run away, I invite you to do one thing further. Allow yourself to look for what you're running towards. Some people might say it's safety. Safety can be good temporarily, but allow yourself to step outside of that as well. At some point, you will need that extra support to do that. So you start looking for that support to help keep you safe. But then allow yourself to recognize, I'm already safe. Because I'm safe with me. I'm safe with myself. If you allow yourself that space, and then allow yourself, step at a time, to love you and to love those around you again, then you will be able to finally step outside, back into your personal power, back into your light, and reignite that flame of yours. Choose a color. What's your favorite color? And go, you know what? That is what I choose for my personal power right now. And sometimes your favorite color may change, and sometimes you may have multiple different colors. And that's okay too. But allow yourself to acknowledge it and then ask yourself, which one do I need most right now? Even with all the challenges that I've been dealing with, yes, I reach out for support. And sometimes it's quite often. Sometimes it's not at all. And sometimes when I don't reach out, when I need to, that's when the dragon comes back out. So be aware. Allow yourself to step into awareness of where your dragon is and how you're using the dragon within you. Be a conduit. Don't let your power overwhelm somebody else in a negative way that's going to tear them down. But allow your personal power to be a light. And choose what it is that you choose to focus on. If your flame is red, blue, white, green, orange, yellow, blue, purple, or amethyst, or maybe even a foam green, acknowledge where your personal power is and be with it. Acknowledge that it's a light that's within you, the light that you need in this moment. And it can change from time to time. It doesn't always have to be the same one. But sometimes, for some individuals, that same one is the one that they go to for a long time because it's the one that resonates the most. So allow yourself to release and resolve the dragon within, only to bring the dragon back out, but in a different way. Allow yourself to learn how to be a better conduit with the dragon and make a new agreement. An agreement that you look at it and you go, well, one side of the dragon is that it can lash out and be angry at people. The other side of the dragon is somebody who leads people by example, by being loving and kind and stepping into their personal power. Sometimes it's calling you out on your own stuff too. Be wary of that one too, because it is there and it can help. But if it is doing more harm than good, maybe that is not where you need to be. Know that you are loved. Big bear hugs. Namaste.